and welcome to Confidence Through Cabaret. My name is Heather.
And I'm Ryan.
And we are so happy that you're here today. We are talking all about the amazing Emily Oliver and the podcast that we just filmed with her, all about her business, aligning happiness and spirituality, and so much to share, so much to discuss. But first of all, what is your caffeine of choice?
It's not caffeine. It's not caffeine. I know.
Get out.
To lay off the caffeine. So I've just got Ribena.
Well, okay. Is it sugar-free?
No.
Okay, well, as long as it's something.
I gave up coffee. Didn't give up coffee, but I didn't have coffee. I'm not giving up on the sugar for this moment. I still need to do things.
As long as you're having some sort of poison, that's cool. Absolutely. I have a cup of tea, which is unusual, but that's because I have drunk a lot of coffee today.
Right.
And so cool. So we're doing tea. So where to start with Emily and happiness? I mean, what a great job to have, right? To be a happiness and spirituality coach.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what a wonderful way to kind of to spread joy to any number of people. I really did enjoy this whole experience working with Emily. It was really fun, but it was also quite meaningful, and that's the big thing. And something that we've talked about a lot, and is one of one of the things that you said is a core value is joy and play. I just thought it was really interesting how much aligned to that it was working with Emily, because her experience and her practice is all about encouraging that joy and using that playfulness and working with people in that way. Yeah.
And Emily is so generous and so giving. I mean, go seek out Emily. All the details will be with the podcast. Listen to the podcast because it is fantastic. But Emily also shared with us an amazing masterclass, which you can find on confidencethroughcabaret.com. And there's a workbook that goes with it. And it's just so many tips and tools. And I mean, I won't even go into it here because I just took away so many things that the next time you see me, I'm going to be a bundle of joy.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to try because I think there were some great tips and tricks. So I will check them out for sure. And I think, they're so complementary with one another. Like I'm finding, these masterclasses, you can combine them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can do some dreamscaping about what you really want, and then you can go into the happiness shield, and it's just so fantastic. What a journey.
Absolutely.
Well, how lucky are we to have these amazing people contributing masterclasses?
Oh, tell me. I mean, pinch me every day. Pinch me every day. But I mean, one of the things that I found really interesting about this as well is the fact that, because we've often said that there's a major overlap within the various disciplines. And, when you log on to confidencethroughcabaret.com, you'll see that we have 3 lifelines: personal life, work life, and stage life. And often people have said to us, well, what do you mean by stage life? And we've said this a good few times now, but it always bears with repeating, because stage life, although it can sound like we're talking the literal treading of the boards, what we're talking about is wherever you show up in the world. But very interestingly, you can see how often these tie into different disciplines. With this particular podcast, there was a really great and very interesting moment where Emily, who is also trained in theatre and trained in the dramatic arts, was also reflecting on that and reflecting on her experience of stage fright. And if we're talking about your stage being literally wherever you show up in the world and want to show up with confidence, that stage fright can still manifest. So we go a little bit into what Emily sort of perceives that as, and some of that sort of where some of that sort of fear comes from. Should we play the clip?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
Like, even though I used to be a singer, and like you're always a singer, but I would, sing the anthem and games, and I would be on stage a lot. Like, I would still get that racing heart, like, okay, I have to pee like 7 times before I run on stage, even though there's like nothing in my bladder.
It always happens.
Right. I'm a Leo. I'm confident. The second I'm about to go on stage, my body's like, danger, danger. And that's our negativity bias.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so funny that our bodies do this to us. It's like, you're not safe. You can't go out on stage. You're going to die. And you're like, where did that come from? Did cavemen used to like stone the performers or something? Like, where is this coming from? Yet we can do like other things that are seemingly so scary and could actually die, on stage. So what's going to happen is you're going to like pee yourself and people are going to boo you, but you're not going to die. Like,
so yes.
So yes.
So yes.
So yes.
Yeah.
So it was interesting because Emily mentions the negativity bias there. And I know in the masterclass, she goes into that much more and shares with us that typically research suggests that 80% of our thoughts in a day are negative.
Yeah.
And it's not really, we know it's not rational. We know nobody's going to die.
Yeah.
But it is that fear is so real. And what we say to ourselves, it goes completely through our body, And so there's an expression that I always use in a presentation skills course, which is about those butterflies and that adrenaline.
Right.
And it talks about everyone feels butterflies, but the experts get the butterflies flying in formation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's here. And I love that somebody who is as experienced and capable as Emily is sharing the same thing. We keep hearing over and over again about, we feel that, we experience it, and then we do it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love how, and I think a lot of people here will recognize that, maybe you took a drama class in high school or senior school, or maybe you were in a club, or but these skills, they just keep recurring, and they are really genuinely life skills. And it's as fundamental as being able to breathe properly, because Emily's a singer, right? So just being able to breathe into the diaphragm, and then to be able to, there's so many functional skills that actually we talk all the time about breathing for a different reason, right? Not to be able to sustain the breath in a note, but just to be able to oxygenate our body and feel calm and in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of the things I thought was really very interesting about this thing about the negative biases and stuff like that. And this is something that we've talked about quite a few times. It's something I talk about in my own sort of hosting workshops, is the idea of flipping your mindset in a way and kind of really looking at that moment. So one of the things that I've said multiple times, during my teaching, when I'm working with a client, is that one of the things that I find really interesting, it's something that I've had to kind of program into my own mind, is that the fear often that we get, and this is something I've seen with many new performers, especially as well. Often the fear that we get can come from the idea that other people are willing us to fail.
Yeah.
And that's 9 times out of 10. That is absolutely not the case. Probably more. That is absolutely not the case. And I can say that from experience, I've traveled many a continent, and I've been on many a stage. And the thing that really people come to see a show for is to see you succeed. They really do. And the truth is, it's very rare that somebody is actually desperately trying to will you to fail. So when you go into those positions, one of the things I've always said is the last thing you can think about before you go on stage is just this moment of, everybody in this audience is willing me to succeed. And if you have that in your sort of heart before you go out onto that stage, you don't greet your audience with fear, you greet them with love. Because that's a whole group of people who are basically there to go, yeah, you can do it. And when you have that as your mindset, it allows so much other stuff to fall into place. And you can translate that to anywhere.
Yeah. And when you think about your audience as, sending you love and willing you to succeed, then
Mm.
there's forgiveness in that as well. If there's a mistake,
Yeah,
or something goes
absolutely.
wrong, or you fall over, or you know, that's worst case scenario. But actually, that makes you human. And there's a lot of research that suggests that actually we it's more endearing to us because we kind of go, ah, they're human.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, indeed. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of credence into that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think, you know, Emily had said she hadn't realized how much um, that theater experience and that stage experience played into her ability to coach, which isn't necessarily an obvious link, and certainly into her Reiki healing and spiritual practices, you know, but it does inform how we put ourselves out there. And in our community, in our Facebook community, which is Confidence Through Cabaret on our Facebook and all the socials, on that community, actually that all caps challenge, which is character, avatar, persona, is still our most popular one in the unit section on the community. You know, people go to that and they're instantly attracted to that, of kind of where's my, you know, how can I create characters that show up with the confidence that I want to?
Yeah,
It's all within us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love that.
Oh.
So we are on all of the social medias. Please do join our community. We love having members in our community. It's just so supportive and uplifting, and it's just like a little oasis in the social media bustle. We're on all the social medias as Confidence Through Cabaret, with the exception of Twitter, which is at YBYWYS. I feel like a YMCA coming on.
Right.
I know. And the on the other social media that is not Confidence Through Cabaret is Clubhouse, and I am at Heather YBYWYS. And Ryan, remind us what that stands for, please.
Well, I believe that stands for it's your body, your world, your stage. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody.
Please like and subscribe. Please check us out Monday to Friday. Come back again. Check out confidencethroughcabaret.com. A load of content on that landing page. Tons. Just go check it out. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.